So when you try to transfer animated DAZ model to the Cinema 4D, you can face the problem that each object that is attached to the body of the model will have its own separate morph tag that will contain the same set of morphs that you included to the export. Usually this is clothes or maybe shoes or something like that. So the main problem is when you'll try to use the morph on the body, it will be applied only to the body, and clothes wouldn't react to the morph that you applied to the body, and they will stand still. And vice versa. If you increase in morph's value on the clothes object, they won't affect the body. You can see the shorts were expanded and the top as well, but body stands still. It remains thin, and you should tweak them separately. If you try to select all of morph tags, sure, you can change the strength of all of them at once, but it works only in the case when you have just one morph that you want to animate. If you have multiple morphs and you want to control them separately, this method won't work for you. As you can see, we have here elf ear morph and peer figure morph. And in this case, you can't change them separately. Let's set everything to 0, and I'll show you how to control these morphs from one place. You have to create the null object, use the Shift-C to call the search bar. It will come in handy when you want to add some object to the scene very fast and don't want to search it in the menus. Once you added the null object, rename it. For example, you can name it controller. Then we need to create a slider that will control all the morphs for all objects that we have in the scene. To do that, click on the controller, proceed to user data menu, and click manage user data or add user data. There will be the object already called data. If there is empty, you can push the add data button and it will be appear. The next, rename the slider, for example, peer figure. If we want to control the peer figure morph for the all objects in the scene, and change the interface type to float slider. And you are done, click OK, and here we are. Peer figure slider from 0 to 100%. That is what we need. The next step, click on the controller and add the XPresso tag to it. Once again, you can use the search bar, Shift+C. XPresso, here it is. We see the XPresso table. Now drag and drop the controller object to the table, and then you can select all morph tags and drag them to the table as well. Place them on the table to make the work more convenient. And now we have to add the ports to the nodes we added to the XPresso table. For example, this newly created slider, we have to add it to the controller node as an output port because it will drive all the rest sliders. You can make it in two ways. You can click on the red zone on the node, find the needed pane, in our case it's user data, and select the peer figure. Or you can make it in much easier way, just grab the needed parameter and drag it to the red zone of the node, and it will add the output port automatically. Let's make the input ports for morph tags in the same way. Just click and drag. And one thing, to save your time, you can analyze which objects are truly affected by morph tags. For example, here we have the eyelashes object that is not affected by morphs at all. You can simply delete this node to not waste your time. You can see the name of the object if you expand the node to the right side, but we know that it is second node if we count in from the top, so we can just delete it. And now all you need to do is to connect the output port with input ports on the morph tags. That's it. Now we can close the XPresso, click on the controller, find the newly created slider, and voila, you can control all the morphs from one place. Clothes and body are morphing simultaneously. And here is one more tip for you. With XPresso, you can create the groups of morphs that you can control with just one slider. For example, when model gets thicker, we need the elf ears to grow up. But how to do that? Here you see the slider that grows elf ears. Let's see it closer. Here it is. And on the pure figure morph, you see the icon that tells us it is already linked to the XPresso, and the elf ears is still animatable by user. So let's see how to combine them. All you need to get back to XPresso. We know that elf ears morph affecting only the body, so you should grab this morph from the morph tag that is applied to the body and drag it to the corresponding node inside the XPresso. Just like that. Let's expand it a little bit, and we can see the full name of the morph here. Now just link our slider to the elf ears morph. And that's it. Let's see how it looks. Click on the controller and increase the value. Ta-da! It works.